Alright, so I just got back from Playlist Live. So, I have a few tips if you're planning on going to Playlist Live, what you should do to maybe have a successful trip. I cannot say that word. Successful trip. Number 1, before you go to Playlist Live, make sure you train for a marathon. Like, maybe not eat for a few days, don't drink any water for a few days while running, because that's pretty much what Playlist Live is all about. I got to Playlist Live a little bit later than I wanted to today. I got there about 10 o'clock. I live about 2 miles away from where the venue was where it was located at, and it took me 45 minutes to get 2 miles because of the traffic. So, leave early. That's tip number 2. Leave early, like way early, like 4 hours early. Make sure you find a parking spot if you're going to keep your car there, because that's another problem that I had. So number 1, train for a marathon. Don't eat for a few days. Don't drink for a few days. Run a ton, and then you'll probably be in shape for Playlist Live. Tip number 2, get there really, really early. Tip number 3, don't try and go to meet and greets. You probably won't get in. And I say this with like kind of a heavy heart because I waited 4.5 hours for one of my favorite YouTubers, but I got to meet my favorite. I'm keeping it a secret. And I was the last person in line that got to see them, although people waited just as long as I did. The best bet is to literally just try and find them walking around. That's the most successful thing. I probably waited for 45 minutes by the hotel complex and talked to and got pictures with about 3 or 4 YouTubers, whereas I waited 4.5 hours for one and only got to see one, and it was literally for 0.2 seconds. Literally 0.2 seconds. So, those are some tips for Playlist Live if you plan on going. Again, make sure you, 1, train for a marathon, don't eat for a few days, don't drink water for a few days, because literally I got there at 9 a.m. and I didn't eat anything until 5 at night. Make sure you plan on bringing a lot of water, because I have a very bad headache from not drinking a lot of water. Number 2, get there as early as possible, and number 3, I would try and go out to breakout sessions and trying to meet YouTubers when they're just around in their area, when they're around their hotel, when they're around the venue, when they're just walking around. It's a lot easier to try and meet them that way, just because meet and greets get so crowded and so packed, and dying in a mosh pit is not really what I have in mind. Those are a few tips to survive Playlist Live. It's only been my first day so far. Tomorrow I hope it's gonna be pretty interesting, but I hope I get to see a lot more YouTubers. It's kind of a shame that you can only see so many of them, but they are doing a great job. People are mobbing them, people are screaming at them. They're doing a fantastic job. I commend all YouTubers who are at Playlist Live. Don't get me wrong, I commend you guys for doing what you're doing, and thank you so much, and we all appreciate it. But I will let you guys know how tomorrow goes, because hopefully it goes a little bit better than my day today, because I was not prepared at all. So those are some tips for Playlist Live. Hopefully you'll be joining us next year. Bye!